all I'm going to say is, do not be shocked if City get dumped, and do not be shocked if Barca get dumped. I'm telling you now. So you want to be a movie star? Shit, sorry, that's a different video recording. Wrong person, wrong cast. No. So I think this is our 5th podcast, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And still want a room with the name Logic. I think I might do that. I've not got a proper name for it. It's been a bad day for me, you know. You know, I just remembered Leicester playing Newcastle, and if you think I'm upset that, you know, when I last checked Leicester were losing, no, I missed the deadline for fantasy football.
Rookie mistake. I made a bad last minute change.
Don't tell me Captain Vardy.
Nah, I've actually gone for a very left field punt. Double game week Brighton, captain Glenn Murray, because they've got
triple captain.
No, double. Oh. Normal captain.
Oh, normal captain.
Normal captain Glenn Murray, because they've got, I think it's Burnley and Cardiff, both at home. And I'm hoping Glenn Murray, all he needs to do is get me 1 goal in those 2 games and it would have paid off. Obviously playing both.
Yeah, we've got to play them both as well, obviously. I'm saying my triple captain for Son next week. Now that Kane's injured, he has to start both games. One of them is against Huddersfield, the other one is Man City. I expect him to bang against Huddersfield. So as long as he just plays against Man City.
No, they're Tottenham playing Huddersfield this week.
Sorry, Huddersfield this week. They're playing, is it Brighton next week? They're playing one of the bottom
They're playing
teams.
double.
Yeah, and one of them is against the relegation candidates, or a team that's already relegated.
Yeah.
It might be the candidates, I'm not sure. But either way, Son has to bang then. So, but I'm annoyed that I missed out on the changes I was going to do anyway. But forget that now anyway. Champions League.
Talk about real football.
The real football, yeah. The Champions League.
The fantasy stuff.
The Champions League. Quick roundup. Were you even actually surprised by Man City losing to Tottenham?
No, given their previous performance in the FA Cup against Brighton. Man City aren't the free-flowing Man City we've become used to. They're not blowing teams away as you'd expect. And it just seems as if they are showing signs of almost nervousness. Not necessarily fatigue. They've got a squad big enough to cope with that. It's more almost as if the talk of quadruple is getting into their heads. They're getting closer and closer. They are obviously in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, top of the Premier League, and in the final of the FA Cup. Already won the League Cup. So as you get closer to that finishing line, because they've never been in that position before, it seems as if it's catching up with them.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of like quadruple talk recently because they're getting so close to it. Where if you went about a month ago, Pep was almost trying to banish the idea of the quadruple. Yep. Now that his players are starting to talk about it, not that they're coming out, they're getting asked the question, and rather than doing what Pep does and keep them away from it, I think they're talking about it. They're almost adding the pressure to themselves now. And I think Liverpool doing what they're doing in the league isn't helping Man City. Otherwise, they'd be resting players against Tottenham in the league to then go focus on the Champions League. So Liverpool almost screwed them in that way as well. And I wasn't surprised because I think the way you beat Man City is the way that Liverpool and Tottenham play with that high press and high energy. Although Tottenham weren't so high pressed in that game. But either way, it's that energy that does it. Yeah,
the individual errors cost them as well. I think if you remember back to Pep's first season in the Premier League, he actually had a fantastic start to the season. Was it 2.5 years ago now? His first loss was to Spurs. And that's when Spurs had Walker and Rose bombing up and down the fullback from the fullback areas. And although recently City tend to batter Spurs, I think Pep is always nervous about how physical Tottenham play against City, and that's why, I mean, just look at the clip that went viral on Fernandinho and Kane.
How is he not getting retrospective for that?
Retrospective or even VAR?
They're saying he's not going to because the ref sort of had a word with them, but surely the ref didn't see that, like the extra.
You could say the first one was accidental because he just fell on top of him, but then he's pushed him down.
It's another stage, isn't it? He's like,
exactly.
I'm gonna give you what the Rock wants.
So
you just missed the run off the ropes.
Exactly, and the thing is, you associate Man City with this fantastic, beautiful passing football. One thing I noticed from the documentary is how eager Arteta and Pep are to tell their players, make sure you stop the transition, make sure you stop the transition. That's why, I mean, it came up earlier in the season that Fernandinho, he gets away with so many niggly fouls as the team's about to break away.
He's starting to get away with people's elbows as well.
Yeah, but never gets carded because he's always like, oh, sorry, ref, oh, sorry, and then, you know, picks the guy up and then probably pokes him in the eye again. And
woo!
Exactly. And now I mean, that goes to show. I'm sure in the dressing room, Pep and the coaches would have said to their players, make sure you get into Spurs, make sure you get into Spurs. And that's what Fernandinho tried to do there, but it didn't work.
I've said to you for a long time, there's so many games where I've looked in the first 20-30 minutes and thought Fernandinho should be booked.
Yeah.
And people don't realise how big a booking is for a player like Fernandinho. Like, if he's allowed to just run into players and behind like that all game without the booking, that's a disruption of the counter-attack and just the way other teams can get off that relentless pressure that City put on you. And Kante was like that at one stage, and I don't really see him commit that many more fouls anymore.
Because he plays centre mid now, not DM like he used to.
Yeah, but even then, like when he was playing like a DM forward, Chelsea used to sometimes have the ball high up the pitch, and maybe that's why, like you said, he's not having to put the tackles in. That's probably why. But even then, he's basically what Kante was doing when Chelsea were winning the title. Yeah. But this guy seems to get away with it more and more. He does a lot more vicious things people won't remember or speak about because the refs just let it slide.
Yep.
Doesn't even get highlighted. So I'm just wondering, and like, what will it take? Because even VAR's in the game and he somehow still gets away with it. What about that penalty decision? Penalty for you?
With Danny Rose?
Yeah, Danny Rose.
No, I mean, it's very harsh.
Harsh implies that it's a penalty, but
I don't think that one's a penalty because it's almost physically impossible to slide with your arms by your side. Basically, he's trying to block a shot. For those of you that haven't seen it, I can't remember who took the shot. It might actually
Sterling.
Was it Sterling? Yeah. Took the shot, and Danny Rose has come sliding in to block the shot. And yes, he's half turned away with his arm.
I don't think he was that half turned, to be honest. If there was a slight, it's more of a, because the shot was kind of coming at him. He's gone forward, sort of thing. And he's not gone sideways, and his arm's gone up rather than sideways.
Yeah, and
it's not like he's extended his body, because if anything, he's trying to just stop the floor. And like, had he stood up, it wouldn't have actually made much of a difference to the actual block.
And the biggest indicator is the City players hardly appealed, if at all. I mean, they put their hands up.
One or two did.
Yeah, just a few hands up. That's about it. And what, it took 3 or 4 minutes for the VAR guys to make the decision that it was a penalty. And
I feel like justice was done.
Justice was done.
Aguero did drop that bottle.
Awful penalty.
You know, if that was not the Champions League, he buries that all in. Even if the keeper dives the right way.
Yeah, I don't think Aguero's a great penalty taker, to be honest. I think City don't actually have a good penalty taker.
I've seen De Bruyne take a few. He's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure I've seen. I'm sure I've seen De Bruyne.
Or
Silva. I'm sure David Silva takes them.
On occasion, but I think Aguero probably is a primary penalty taker, and he's missed noticeable ones. I mean, if you think about their pursuit of the quadruple, 2 penalties might cost them. Aguero against Spurs, and Mahrez against Liverpool.
Yeah, so that's going to be the one that hurts them the most.
Yep.
If they do miss out on the title, but I just feel like Tottenham are going to do. I said it in the podcast a few weeks ago.
Spurs did a job on them. If you,
I mean, not just that one match. I think they're going to actually get past them. I think they're going to do. I said it. I think was it
without Kane now. I think that
almost plays into their hands. Their record recent has been better without Kane.
Yeah.
Their style of play with Son on the break instead of Kane will probably suit them in the Man City away game. I just feel like as long as Lloris doesn't have his Lloris moments, and Tottenham tend to do, they have in recent big games gifted the opposition a goal.
Yeah.
What they cannot do is concede early on. I think these City nerves are going to build up, especially with Pep and his record of, we'll go on to his away record recently and his Champions League record. We'll go on to that soon. But I think his nerves will build up. He'll go around the stadium. As long as they don't concede early, that is.
Yeah, and
if Spurs don't concede early.
If you notice City, whenever they are in good form, they tend to blow teams away in the first 20-30 minutes and then just take it easy after that. They come quickly out the blocks, get a goal or two, and then it's cruise control from there on. What worries me about Spurs is that weak central midfield. They have a good defence with the likes of Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Rose or Davies, Trippier or Aurier. Lloris is obviously a bit shaky, and then obviously Davinson Sanchez if they want to play 3 at the back. But that central midfield area with the likes of Sissoko, Winks, maybe Eriksen if they want to drop him in there.
Winks played actually a lot better than I thought he would. I thought he was going to be a lost kid, you know. When I saw that team sheet, I was like, come on, man, you're giving them a rest in the second leg.
They've got no other choice. They sold Dembele and haven't replaced him, and they've got literally no one else to put.
Where's Dyer? Is he injured?
Dyer must be injured, yeah. And Dele Alli can't really play central midfield.
Nah, he has to be the attacker, and you can't expect him to come back. If he comes back, I've got a feeling he's going to give them a penalty.
Yeah.
That's the sort of player that I feel like he is right now.
So when they take that goal lead to the Etihad, I think they're going to have to score if they have any chance of going through. They can't. I don't think they're capable of getting a 0-0.
I feel like it's going to be 2-1 City.
Yeah.
But the goals might come late for City, so the pressure might not be there. The game might be a bit more dull, if that makes sense, than a thrilling 2-1. I don't feel like it'd be a thrilling 2-1.
I think it could be. I think he has to play Sane.
Yeah, why is he not playing him? I don't understand. You know what? I sometimes think Pep just tries to be too clever. Sometimes it's just do the simple thing and get it done for you.
The funny thing is, it seems as if Mahrez isn't really his guy. He tends not to play him too much in the league.
Played him in a big game,
he played him in a big game. That's what I mean. You can't fathom Pep's how his mind works.
I think this is the thing that got me though. I thought Tottenham were going to have a lot more of the ball than they did. I don't think they were absolutely like lost in terms of how much ball they had. They had a decent amount of the ball.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, Tottenham are going to invite the counter attack on them, because I thought City might sit back, have Sane and Sterling on the break, and that's like the perfect European performance nowadays in most games, isn't it?
Even though Spurs were at home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, City sit back.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
City sit back, and then Sane and Sterling. So that's what being an away tie. That's what normally happens. You don't want to give them an easy goal, and you ideally want an away goal. So I thought City aren't gonna, go as attacking. I'm not saying they went as attacking as they did, because I don't think they went overly attacking. But I just felt like having Sane and Sterling on the counter attack would have been far better than Mahrez, especially with the fact that he said he doesn't really trust Mahrez in the league.
Yeah, he doesn't trust Mahrez,
so
and
I think he wanted to surprise Poch as much as he did us.
Yeah, I think he wants to. He's expecting a lot more from De Bruyne. He's only just come back from injury.
But what 2 minutes?
I know, and I think that's why he's missing. They didn't create too many chances against Spurs.
I can only remember the penalty save.
Exactly. So they are missing something, and hopefully, if you're a City fan, De Bruyne is fully fit and firing on all cylinders for this final run-in. For the 1 week's time. Yeah. I don't think he's... Do you think he's not playing because he's not fully fit? Is that what it is? Or do you think Pep's trying to get the message? Not match fit.
So he's not fully match fit?
Yeah, I think he's fit.
2 minutes at a time would probably get him ready in 2020 or something.
I'm sure he'll get a run out against Palace this weekend, and they've got United next week.
What day is that? Sunday.
They're playing twice next week, City. I can't remember who.
So they're playing on Wednesday in the Champions League.
So they're playing this Sunday against Palace.
Then Wednesday in the Champions League.
Next week they've actually got Spurs and United.
So United game must be on the weekend then?
No, midweek, because that's their game in hand. City United is the midweek.
So that must be a week after the Champions League then. So it'll be the week after, innit? Because they're playing Champions League next week, so it can't be.
Okay.
So it can't be a midweek game, because that'll be hella tough on their schedule. They're saying Manchester. Yeah, why not? But yeah, so they've definitely got a tough schedule. I know that, and they definitely need De Bruyne for at least 2 of them games. One being the Champions League. I think they'll do Man United without De Bruyne, to be honest. I feel like they will. And actually, not
with United seemingly going out of the Champions League, and therefore the only route going to try and get back into the Champions League is through the league. Therefore, they need to try and beat City.
But that isn't how football works. We're not like, Palace need to beat Man City to avoid relegation, so they're going to get the result. That's not how football works.
It's that motivational element. It's like in a video game.
Sometimes,
if you've only got one life, you try extra hard. Whereas City, in terms of trophies, they've got multiple lives. They're focusing on Champions League, FA Cup. I know.
If Liverpool beat Chelsea on the weekend, City now look at that United game. We have to win this if we want the Premier League. Yeah. So they got that same motivation. I'm sure being motivated to win a Premier League is going to be more driving than top 4 spot. It has to be, innit? Especially if you're the 2 Manchester clubs. Like, driving for 4th spot isn't going to be as pressurising, as enthralling as driving for the trophy if you're Man City.
For United and Oli, he needs Champions League football.
He's got the full-time job. Look at him. He's lost 4 in the last 5. He's got the full-time job. He's like, now it's time to just...
That's it.
I've got the job.
That Oli at the wheel is full on autopilot now.
That's it.
He's No, I think those have been tough games, and it's understandable why he's
Wolves
lost.
twice. You expect them not to lose both of them.
Yeah, of course.
At least draw one. If you're going to lose one, draw the other at least.
I think the reason they need Champions League isn't to secure Ali the job, is to get players in the summer. So they're going to spend.
They spend enough money. Look, I think they've made massive signings, huge signings, without the Champions League football. This is money talks end of the day, innit? And they can sell this project that, you know, we're going to get back in the Champions League. Look, we're buying players like, you know, Sanchez for 450k a week, although he didn't pan out, but like the idea is there. We're signing top players. So I don't think Champions League football is too much an issue for United. But moving on to United, which is what I was about to say when you brought them up, were you impressed by United, or are Barcelona not as strong as we thought?
Barcelona just overly reliant on Messi, really. Suarez isn't what he used to be. They're not getting the same level of output from the likes of Rakitic.
Coots.
Yeah, exactly. And
Coots, come back, man. What are you doing there?
If Messi doesn't fire, then Barcelona just tend to amble through games in second or third gear like they did against United. They got the goal.
But it wasn't even the lack of goals. It was the lack of quality and control.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen...
I was joking about it with Nav, but after Messi got that whack, I think he got the fear in him.
Nah, I don't think it is that much.
I
I don't think it is, because it wasn't that he played a bad pass or a bad game after that.
But he didn't seem a normal self, you know, to get on the ball, pick a pass, dribble past a few players. I know United were playing defensive.
He did at times. But the thing is, you need sometimes that... It's like you say why Hazard suffered. Like, he hasn't had that player up there with him to play on that level. And in that game, there was no one on Messi's level. Like, a stray passes left, right, centre. Yeah. Busquets of all players was playing passes that you'd think, how the hell are you missing that?
That's what happens when you come up against McTominay.
To be fair, I was impressed with him in the sense that
for a young
he didn't look lost.
Yeah,
and he wasn't the worst midfielder in that team that contained a £90 million signing and a £50 million signing. He was on that actually look better.
They need to shift Fred badly.
Nah, do you know what? You got to give him a second season. Not all Brazilians start that quickly. I don't think he played too bad.
Do a Chelsea with Bakayoko. No, Fred's horrendous.
No, but I didn't think he played bad that game though.
No, he's fine.
But yeah, I get what you mean. I'm just surprised, man. When I saw that Barcelona team and I saw the way they played, I thought, you know what? If Liverpool were on the pitch right now, there was no need for a second leg, man. Like, I feel like we can go back to the Camp Nou and we'll have a more than enough margin to. All right, we'll lose to you there, but we've got enough in the bag. 2-3 goals. I feel like
I'd be interested to see Liverpool, Barca.
That's if Barca perform like that. I know they have another gear in them, and they can control the ball a lot better. They can control the match a lot better. But if they come to Anfield like that, man, they're out of the Champions League. I'm telling you straight. I'm not saying that as a Liverpool fan, but I'm telling you, you cannot play that bad and get away with it against a good team.
I didn't watch the entire game. Obviously, I saw the goal. I saw the Messi Smalling incident. Did Dembele get on the pitch?
Nah, he was on the bench though, so I think he's just back.
So that's another one similar to Sane, where Dembele isn't playing as many minutes as you'd expect from a player of his quality.
He had a massive injury though, innit?
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he's not even back yet. That's his, I think it's his first game back from the bench.
First game back from injury.
Yeah.
I think in the return leg, if they get him on the pitch, it gives United another thing to think about in terms of pacing behind.
Oh, he's definitely getting in that team. I think the manager was starting to like him as well.
Yeah.
So he was in good form just when he got injured as well.
That is a different proposition for Liverpool if Barcelona have a front three of Suarez, Dembele and Messi.
That's true. That is true. But if they can't get a grip of that midfield and they're struggling for, you know, control of the game at Anfield, we've been there before. I think we beat them. Was it 4-1 there last time? Or we beat them. I remember. Was it Bellamy scored? And
that was 2-1. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, was it 2-1? Then we go there and beat them then. Or it was Madrid we smashed 4-0.
It was Madrid. Yeah.
I knew it was one of the Spanish cunts. But either way, I feel like because we did go past Barca that time, didn't we as well?
In the 2006 Champions League.
Okay, that's a long time, and I remember it like it was. I
think it was
13 years ago.
Dirk Kuyt was in that team, and Bellamy, Risa.
That is. I don't really fear this Barcelona team though. So, do you remember when the draw came out? I was like, damn, I don't want to be on Barca side of the draw over 2 legs. I'd rather have them over the final.
To be honest, I don't think.
Because I don't want to go to the Camp Nou. But when I saw
Liverpool got the easy draw in terms of Porto, but other than that, there's no other easy ties. It sounds like a massive cliche, but look at Juve Ajax.
See, you think Ajax
was
would
a
be an easy
fantastic
tie?
game. Yeah, but
how did Ajax not actually win that game?
Exactly, and
How did they not win
I
that
actually
game?
didn't think it was an easy tie. Juve wouldn't have been happy about facing Ajax.
Why? I'm sure they'd have rather faced Ajax.
Not after seeing what Ajax did. I know Madrid are falling apart this season, and they aren't what they used to be without Ronaldo, and with many other factors into play in terms of managerial merry-go-round. But that performance, Ajax at the Bernabeu, unbelievable.
It was.
Juve would have seen that and thought, this isn't going to be an easy game.
But that's against a disjointed Madrid team.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Juve aren't going to go there thinking, whoa, that's a massive team coming out as in Ajax. They would have thought, right, you beat a disjointed Madrid team that managed to get their own centre-back. Thought it was a good idea to rest himself.
Yeah.
So obviously that just shows the state of Madrid. And I'm sure Juve would have... The only other team they would have took ahead of them was Porto.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they would have been delighted with that and thought it would have been a much easier match than it was. They got lucky, man. They almost robbed them with that Douglas Costa shot at the end as well.
Yeah.
So had they done that, I would have cried, man. I would have been like, that's just an injustice. When I watched the highlights, because obviously I watched the other match.
Yeah.
That was that day. Which one was it? Was it Liverpool? No. It was
Ajax Juve.
Liverpool Tottenham will play, so it was Barca Man U in it, yeah.
Yeah.
So I was watching that match, and when I watched the highlights, I was like, damn, I was watching the wrong match. I was like...
It's because Ajax is just full of young players who have no fear.
Do you think they'll play like that away?
They play like that anywhere. Look how they played at Bernabeu.
They needed the win there, though, innit? They don't need the win here. They need a goal.
I
but they
don't
need a win.
think they are that type of team to sit on a lead, and they aren't capable of sitting on a lead.
I'm just thinking about the highlights, and have you seen the highlights?
Yeah.
How much does Ziyech love to shoot? He's just
That's
like...
it. I think he takes something like over 4 shots a game.
That's it doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, you
So
compare that to anyone,
on average,
that's a lot, man.
Harry Kane in his pomp, I think takes over 5. I think Ronaldo takes over 6.
He wants to hit them levels.
For a midfielder taking over 4 shots a game, I know
he's a good strike.
He's
got a good strike, man. I feel like he's gonna bang one in the way, like, and it'll be a beauty. That Neres goal, was it Neves or Neres?
Neres, yeah.
I'd love to see him at Liverpool. I know they're linked with him, and he does look like one of those players that's quite good actually. Because every time I've watched him, he's been quite impressive.
Ajax are going to be raided this summer for sure. De Jong's already gone. De Ligt's on his way. The likes of Neres, Ziyech, they're going to go as well.
They're going to have some big money to play with. It's just a shame no one's going to want to go there.
They're just going to reinvest it into their academy and start again.
Bloody hell, man! Imagine they hold on to half their players, man. They'd have to...
It's just not possible.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, man. But
especially with that agreement, I don't know if you heard the story. Ajax and Barcelona have reached some sort of agreement where it's almost Barcelona have first option on any Ajax player. So you know how Chelsea and Vitesse Arnhem have that kind of agreement where if Chelsea want to send some of their youngsters out on loan, Vitesse gets first option, the Dutch club. Same
Dutch club's done a good deal, and they know Chelsea do 50, 60 players all the time.
Exactly. The likes of Van Ginkel have gone there in the past. Who else has gone to Vitesse?
But can the player refuse the move?
Yeah.
So what's first choice got to do with it if the player doesn't want to go there?
Not a lot, but in many cases, if you know that your parent club wants to get rid of you, why would you want to stay?
No, I'm not saying stay there. Chelsea will go to a different option. Yeah. Like if Hudson-Odoi is a player that just say was going to go on loan, it's no good that Dutch club. What is it? Who is it?
Vitesse Arnhem. In some cases it wouldn't even be feasible. So for example, Hudson-Odoi, this is a player who Bayern Munich wanted for 30 million. Vitesse wanted being able to pay that anyway. So
no, I'm just saying on the loan option.
Yeah, on the loan option. Yeah, they can refuse.
But I heard that on the buyback option, does the player have the refusal? Because I remember when Juve had to sell, not had to sell, but they were selling Morata. They wanted to sell him to, I think, United or Chelsea first, but then Juve bought him back to make the profit. Not Juve, Real Madrid bought Morata back, and then sold him a year later
to
Chelsea to make United or Chelsea. Well, they thought it was United, but then ended up going to Chelsea. But they did that. And the reason that he ended up going back to Juve is not because he ended up going back to Madrid from Juve was because Madrid
exercise the
buyback clause. Could the player not refuse that? Look, I don't know.
No.
You can't refuse that.
That's the thing about buyback clause.
So you can't.
Slavery. No, I guess in terms of contract negotiations, I mean,
but
if they're paying you what you want,
I'm guessing the player has a say when he makes the initial move, then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you could say that. Yeah, we agreed on it when you left.
But the player can always say no.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I mean, that must be in there when he moves to Juve in the first place. That look, if we buy you, got no choice. You're coming back. And so fair enough. So moving on from players being slaves. Okay, the most expensive slaves that I can ever think of. And we'll quickly move on from the Champions League. Who do you think will go through now that we've seen the first set of results?
So Liverpool's foregone conclusion.
I wouldn't make it. They should do. They should do. Yeah.
They'll breeze past Porto. With City and Spurs, I think City will go through. I think the Kane injury is too much of a blow. I know people are throwing around those stats of Spurs win more without Kane than they do with him.
That's just this season, I think.
That's just the season, and that was because Son went through an amazing vein of form. What that stat doesn't factor in is Spurs would have won those games anyway because they were playing some really low level teams.
I'm not so sure, man. Look at the amount of games they've just lost to these so-called low level teams recently.
That's
with Kane in the team.
I know that's Spurs in general being off form, but previously when Kane was injured,
they weren't great without him. They were just scraping these games through.
I think
some really late wins, man.
I think they need Kane though, because you just wonder where the goals are going to come from that team. Dele Alli hasn't really fired. Son is the only one. Lucas Moura did for a bit, but
he played well when he came on.
He did play well when he came on.
They only need a draw, so I fancy.
I think City will go through there. Juve, Ajax. I think you have to go with Juve with the players coming back for them. Chiellini, I think, missed the first leg. You have to go with Juve. Their experience will overcome Ajax, and then that leaves Barca Man U at the new camp. You have to go with Barcelona. So
all I'm going to say is
semi-finals of Liverpool, Barca, and then City and Juve.
All I'm going to say is, do not be shocked if City get dumped, and do not be shocked if Barca get dumped. I'm telling you now, if Barca concede a goal,
it wouldn't be a shock if
City
get dumped. It wouldn't be a shock if City get dumped. It would be a huge shock. If
Messi said.
This is after Smalling smashed him.
No. He goes, when we played against Leon. He goes, when we played against Leon and we were 2-0 up and then we conceded. I could sense the fear in my teammates that, you know what, if Leon get another goal, 2-2, they're out.
But he wasn't talking about Vidal.
No. Do you see that booking was soft as shit, man? I don't know what that ref was on then, but all I'm saying is it wouldn't be the biggest shock after that first leg if Barca get dumped. If you said this to me before the ball had been kicked, that Barca going to take a 1-0 lead into the Camp Nou, and you said this before they actually played it, would Barca get dumped? I'd be laughing at you. But after watching them play the way they did, I would not be shocked if they get dumped. I would not.
Like I said, I think
it would take another bad performance.
I think if Dembele plays,
I think they're capable of it.
I think if Dembele plays, and although McTominay did well at Old Trafford against Barcelona, playing at the Nou Camp is completely different. So
PSG, it's just like that, isn't it?
PSG are serial bottlers.
But this is a 1-goal lead, and if United score first, the nerves of that team is going to be tested, because this isn't a team that's got the bottle of Xavi, Iniesta, Puyol.
United score first. They had 0 shots on target.
No, but that wasn't through style of play. And I said this as well. I said that United game wasn't a Manchester United team or a Barcelona performance that showed dominance. But that 0 shots on target, it didn't have a reflection of how the game actually played. It wasn't a game that United had very few opportunities. It's just they lacked the quality or nerve in the final third, shall we say. Yeah.
And if he plays Lukaku, that's going to continue.
No, but there was one where I remember clearly where the ball fell kindly to Rashford, and it might have been coming down from a bit of a height, and he just sliced it in the box, and it just went straight back up. It didn't even leave the box. It just bounced back in the box, and if that wasn't Barcelona, he'd probably smash it in the back of the net. Now, going in the second leg, if that happens, I feel like the nerves won't be there. It's like, fuck it, we've got nothing else to play for. Yeah. They're not going to overthink it. I think they were overthinking it and just put too much pressure on themselves in the first leg.
Yeah.
So I can genuinely see.
Following that game on the radio, I heard loads of callers coming in complaining about the fact that was a very Mourinho-esque performance. That's not what we expect from Oli.
But again, it's that I think it's the fact that they're
It's
hanging on to that.
Isn't it?
It's that 0 shots on target that people are hanging on to. Where if you look at, was it Dalot header? Did you see that?
Yeah, where you shot twice.
That should be a goal. Never mind a shot on target. That should be a goal. That's what I'm saying. I think he decided to head it back across. I don't think he actually went for a goal at all.
Yeah.
I think
he came off the wrong part of his head, didn't it?
No, I think he actually aimed where it went where he aimed. He just aimed towards goal.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually went for goal there. That was his problem. So again, you look at them 2 chances, and I know Barca did have a few big chances as well. But yeah, all I'm saying is don't be shocked there. And while we're on the subject of Barcelona, Pep Guardiola, that away stat in Europe, it got me thinking: is he a European fraud? In the league, he's been dominant. So again, there's one thing about the leagues that might make me think fraud or not is at Man City he's had the best squad in the league. Even the first year where he finished 4th, he had a squad that was better than the teams that finished above him. Maybe not the champions. I think who won it, Chelsea. So maybe he probably had a better squad. I'm not sure. I'm not.
That's when Chelsea had Hazard and Costa and Fabregas on fire.
Yeah, starting 11s maybe were close, but squads might have been in City's favour. And then definitely the teams that finished 2nd and 3rd weren't better than, in terms of squad, weren't better than Man City. So he underperformed that year, but then he went and smashed the record last year, 100 points and stuff. But then at Bayern, again, pretty much everyone that walks into that Bayern dressing room wins that league. Barcelona, I know Madrid were a good team, but you had Messi, a GOAT, running on the fields for years now. And he basically, and Iniesta, Xavi, that won a World Cup with that squad, basically, that Spanish team basically won European, Euros, World Cup and Euros.
Yep.
So how much of that was actually down to Pep, and not just Barcelona, I'm not about all them trophies, how much of that was down to Pep and how much of it was down to their teams?
So I think you can't knock the guy for his league performances.
That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Because that level of consistency comes from high quality coaching. Again, I refer back to the documentary on City's 100-point campaign. He is meticulous in his planning. He goes through extensive training drills with his team to make sure they know exactly what he wants them to do at any moment in time. So this is a guy who is a proper student of the game. As far as his poor European record, so the stat is that he hasn't won a big away game, so that's quarters or semis in the Champions League since 2011. That's 10 games. So the teams he's played in that period, Milan,
AC or Inter? Oh, it'd be AC. I can't
it'd be
remember
AC Milan, yeah.
For a while.
He lost to Chelsea the year they won the Champions League away. These are all away games. I think it was draws against the likes of Benfica, losses to
Porto?
Bayern, losses to Madrid.
I'm sure he had a negative against Porto. No?
Losses to Barca, Barca as well. When he was Bayern Munich manager, lost to Porto. So why? In some of those cases, they would have gone through.
I was going to say, in some of them cases, the first leg might have been such a big blowout where the second leg could have just been a formality. Yeah. But I mean, to be 8 years, not all of them would have been formalities.
Of course not. And he hasn't been to the final since leaving Barcelona. You got to 2 semi-finals with Bayern Munich. He got to...
See, that's the other thing. Do you know how you said that he's so meticulous and he's so like pinpointing all these things? If I was to race Lewis Hamilton around a circuit, and I'm driving a Ferrari, he's driving a micro, I could look like, I'm going to go check my engine, my tyre pressures, I'm going to go check the suspension, I could look at everything. The reality is, my tools are far too strong for that micro. And although Pep looks like he's doing all the right things in the league and all that sort of stuff, is he actually doing something that other top managers, I'm not going to say any manager, but any other top manager wouldn't do? Like, I mean, you put Neil Warnock in Bayern Munich, he goes and wins you that league. I'm not saying Neil Warnock will go win you the Champions League, but neither does Pep Guardiola. Did Messi carry? I feel like, to be honest, when he won them trophies all that year, I was like, man, you have to give him credit. No one goes and does what he did. Win 6 trophies in the first year, and then I know he missed a year when he signed Ibra, and then he went got who was it? Henry and like Villa and all them lot, got rid of Ibra and won it again in the following year. I'm thinking, is that him or was that Messi and Henry and like making?
I think why you have to give Pep some credit is Messi started out as a right winger, and then the false nine came in. That's all Pep. And the style of play also changed. So when it went from Rijkaard to Pep, that's when they became this tiki-taka football. That's when they went really heavily possession based, and that's all comes from Pep because he's played under Johan Cruyff.
Do you think another manager, was it Boas did it with Bale? You saw this guy so good on the, was it Boas? AVB?
Yeah.
When he took him from left back to left mid and then gave him the free roll?
Yeah, and then he started banging in the long shots every week.
Yeah, so I'm saying you've got this incredible footballer in Messi. I mean, like if he was here, I'll suck him off right now. Or maybe not. After the podcast, Off camera, yeah. I don't want this video to get a strike for indecent sort of content. So yeah, I'd wait till after the podcast. But either way, you've got this incredible footballer, and I'm sure a lot of top managers will know you don't waste him out wide on the right. As a solely look, you stick to the touchline. And at times he did literally play out wide on the right and drift in.
Yeah,
it's not the hardest thing for a top coach to realise. This guy's a bad boy player. Get him in the middle, he'll score your goals. I'm sure it's not the only guy.
It's not always as simple as that. And to just use one example, Hazard, he does an okay job when he plays that central
striker. He's an okay player, he's not a goat.
When he plays that central striker
Chelsea
position.
fan.
But other than that, he doesn't enjoy it and he's not as effective as when he's out wide.
Yeah, but I think that, again, different style of play.
Go back to Pep and whether he's been carried by his great teams domestically, which is why he's always fallen short on the European stage. When he came up against Barcelona when he's Bayern Munich manager, Barcelona had a front three of Messi, Suarez, Neymar. He was always going to struggle. He did do some odd things that game. I remember that game.
Wasn't it like the highest defensive line in the world?
Not only that, if you remember,
just getting caught out by one pass all
in
the
the
time.
first leg, what he did was, like a five-a-side team, he went man-to-man. So I remember Gary Neville saying it on commentary. No, it couldn't be Gary Neville, it must be on BT. I remember the commentator saying it rather, that he's going man-for-man here.
Back then it might have been Sky, no?
Oh, actually, yeah.
I think it was Sky. BT only had it for like 3 years.
Yeah, Bayern Munich and Barcelona. And basically, he just went man-for-man. So Boateng would mark Suarez, Alaba, for example, would mark Messi, who would have been around, Rafinha or Kimmich would have marked Neymar.
I think it's Kimmich.
He went man-to-man all across the field. So no, all Barcelona did, and then Lewandowski would obviously mark the centre-backs. Ter Stegen would kick it long, they'd win the flick on or win the second ball, and then they were straight onto them. So he did that for the first half an hour, and they were getting battered. They were so lucky he stayed at 0-0. Over time, he switched back to normal tactics and they got into a shape, but the guys were just knackered, chasing players around all over the pitch. Can you imagine? Normally someone puts a guy on Messi, just one guy, and he chases them all around the pitch. Imagine all 11 of your players just chasing people everywhere. They got knackered and they ended up losing that game 3-0. Now he does odd things like that in these big games.
Mahrez-esque.
Mahrez, yes, exactly.
Clearly not on form either.
Against Spurs. So in these two-legged ties compared to the league where it's 3 points on offer, Pep tends to more often than not, except for that Bayern Barcelona example, be the favourite, and teams can conduct a plan of how to beat him over 2 legs.
But if he's got the tools that on 90% of the time he'll be the favourite, like you said, yeah? Surely he's got to actually go and reach a final now. That isn't Barcelona.
Yeah.
So is he a European fraud?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm still split on it because, well, in Europe. So are you saying Messi carried him?
I've always thought Messi carried him.
See, I was a big believer that Messi didn't carry him for a very long time. And if he gets dumped by Spurs, I might actually be on that. You know what, Messi did carry him, man.
He might actually be heading down the same, although not as dramatic, trajectory as Mourinho, where he's gone from big team to big team to big team, being really successful. And the difference being Mourinho obviously won multiple Champions Leagues with different clubs. With Pep, He's gone from Barcelona to Bayern Munich to City, and still only ever won the Champions League with Barcelona. If he doesn't win the league this year, doesn't win the Champions League this year, and only finishes with the FA Cup and League Cup, it will be a failure.
If Liverpool win the league, it's a nice thought, you know. It's a nice thought. But if Liverpool win the league and he doesn't win the Champions League, round up Pep's time at Man City, would you even say it's been successful? Because with how much they spent, the squad they've got, you'd expect one Premier League out of 3 years from any manager. Yeah?
Yeah.
Any half decent manager. Especially last year when Liverpool went at it. There weren't many teams at it. Man City literally needed less than 90 points to win the league. They won it with 100, but
yeah, I think
in reality they didn't need
5-6 games to spare.
Yeah, so in reality they didn't need anywhere near that to win that league. So would it be classed as a success if he doesn't win the league this year or Champions League, even though he'll have won the FA Cup? Well, he's not won the FA Cup yet, but if he does win the FA Cup, he's won the League Cup. Has he won the FA Cup yet last year or the year before? So
he won the League Cup last year when he won the Premier League.
And he didn't win a trophy in the first year, so he hasn't won the FA Cup yet either, has he? So if he wins, just say he's won 2 League Cups and Premier League so far, yeah. Say he doesn't win anything from now on to the end of the season, so he doesn't win the FA Cup, Champions League or Premier League, and that's it. He's parts ways with City. Would it have been a successful stint?
No.
So it'd be a fraud. No, not fraud.
No,
fraud. I just love saying that word.
He got 100 points, most goals, but
that's one season, isn't it? That's one season out of 3 with the most expensive squad that I can remember.
No, I'm not. I wouldn't go as far as to call him a fraud.
But it's not been successful.
It's not been successful, no. Likewise with Bayern Munich, he was there for 3 years. He might have won 3 doubles. I know he definitely won 3 league titles.
You almost expect him, and I don't even know.
And exactly. So, given that it's almost expected, he did take them on. Again, I think he got a record points total, a record goals total, a record number of goals conceded in terms of fewest goals conceded. So he was again breaking records, but people still view that as an okay stint at Bayern because he didn't even get to a final with them, given that he inherited a team that just won the treble.
Just won it, yeah. Did he take it the year after they won it?
The year after they won the treble.
And it's not like that Inter Milan squad that won the treble, because that Inter Milan squad that Jose had was pretty much on its last legs. Like, that was the best season you're going to get. And Jose left knowing that no manager, even he couldn't, I'm pretty sure Jose knew when he won the treble at Inter, the following season, even he couldn't replicate that.
Yeah.
Because then players were just on their way down.
Loads of managers do it. Fergie did it.
No, but with Pep
left David Moyes a pile of shit.
No, but that's different.
Zidane did it. Yeah. he knew Ronaldo was going. Oh, who's coming in? Oh, the Spain manager, Lopetegui. Yeah, here you go. A Ronaldo-less Madrid with no replacement.
The difference is, though, with Fergie, he left a shit squad, let's just say, but they just won the league somehow. I'm still getting my head around how Fergie did that. But them players weren't exactly old. Vidic was, Ferdinand. Who else?
I think Evra was on his way out.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it was slightly aging.
RVP's,
but it's not as aging and as bad as that Inter Milan one was. In the terms of how many players had to get replaced so quickly. But I think United had a few more, another year or two where you didn't expect them to drop the way they did. So Pep's Bayern team was nowhere near that. That was a team that was still in good flow. I think you had Robben at a good age, Ribery at a decent age. I think he just went on the other side of 30 then. And then they had that Thiago Alcantara and a few like Vidal and a few other big players at the right age.
He had Boateng when he was still good.
Yeah, I've never rated Boateng, to be honest. I think his time at Man City in the Premier League, just too much of a stain that I can't forget, man. Yeah, I just don't think he was good enough. I think in that league, he's got good performances in big games, so I'll give him that. Maybe I was too harsh.
In his own head, he thinks he's better than he is, because sometimes when he carries the ball out, you just think, what are you doing? Just play it simple. Be a centre-back. He's going out thinking he's Beckenbauer, carrying the ball out from centre-back, and he just doesn't look like a natural.
Talking about players like that, there's another player in the Premier League, and if I said to you, ex-Liverpool player that thinks he's amazing on the ball, but when you look at him, Bambi on ice, mate. Who do you think?
Saka.
That's it. But do you know what? He actually is
exactly like Rudiger.
But
every time Rudiger dribbles, my heart's in my mouth. I'm thinking, please no.
Saka was like, oh, Saka used to play a pass and he lose balance on it.
Yeah.
And then, but he would actually be a good pass and stuff.
And he loves the Cruyff turn. Too much time spent with Lallana.
But it's fair to say Pep has to do something big this year. I thought this was their Champions League walkover, to be honest. I thought it was because I didn't expect Liverpool, genuinely, I didn't expect Liverpool to be able to, because to be honest, we've grinded out so much of our points this year, and I didn't think we'd grind our way through to where we have now to keep City on the pressure.
And you have the look that Liverpool have had. Come on.
You're going to get a bit of look. City have had look too as well, i.e. the Watford goal where Sterling was clearly offside and interfering with play. The defender's stretching to clear the ball and it smashed it onto Sterling, who's less than a yard away from the clearance, who's trying a shot. Alright, let's not go and rile myself up, but either way City have had look as well. So I didn't think Liverpool would still be putting pressure on the league where City would still have to be at like all guns blazing. I thought they'd be resting players for the Champions League, and I thought Tottenham was not the hardest draw for them, but I thought it'd be a nice enough draw. I knew Tottenham would have it in them.
You don't really want to play a team from your own league.
You don't, but again, I thought it'd be better than playing Barcelona or
I think they would have
Juventus.
preferred to play Barcelona.
On evidence of Old Trafford.
I think City would have beat Barcelona.
Yeah, on what we saw against Old Trafford, yeah. But again, I remember the last time they played, not too long ago, City froze up. And that Barcelona team wasn't exactly the best.
Yeah, they did. Assuming Juve and City both go through, I'd be interested. I couldn't call that one. I
think the way that City play, I think they'll get through. I think Juve will just be too defensive. The reason they got past Atletico Madrid was because Atletico just said, hey mate, just in here. We're not going to even attack you. Like, you can push as hard as you want. We're not even going to put any resistance up. And that's what happened. That's, you invite a rapist to your house, and that's exactly what's going to happen, isn't it? Like, pull your pants down and you're going to get exposed and hurt, isn't it? So I think that's the reason. Had Atletico had an ounce of attacking intent, they'd have gone through. But they just didn't. And Diego Costa was a big miss for them. Huge miss for them. And guess how he got himself suspended? By chatting shit to the ref in the... by chatting shit to the ref while he's in the wall for a free kick. Well, I think he might have been trojed in the wall. Yeah. It's either one. Either way, he got himself suspended through stupidity. So, yeah, I think...
Then he did it against Barcelona over the weekend.
Yeah, yeah. I think he called the ref's mum and sister...
No, he said I shit on your whole mother or something.
Yeah. Either way...
Which apparently is a common Spanish insult. So the ref just sent him give him a straight red.
My mother, you said? Yeah. Get out of here. But no, I think City definitely have to do something big to save not just their own hopes, but Pep's reputation, man. I think his rep's taken a massive hit because he's almost a victim of his own success because he's making the league so easy for himself that people are like, yo, that's not enough anymore. You have to go and do it. If he was doing it like Fergie, 2 Champions Leagues in 25 years, is that a bit of a European fraud? Not fraud, but he definitely hasn't done enough.
He got to finals against Barca twice.
But you got to win them. No one remembers.
No. I think
apart from you remember him. But
given the amount of quality around, there's not as much now. It's wide open. You can't call it. But Fergie's time, Chelsea were a top team. Barcelona.
Chelsea never made a final then.
Chelsea made 2 finals.
No, not the times. I'm talking like they made it late 2000s.
So Chelsea's first final was at 08 when they lost to
United. So late 2000s. I'm on about Fergie's been managing 15, 20 years before that.
Yeah, but before that, in mid to early 2000s, the Italian clubs were amazing.
United won one in 99, man. So
I mean that's what I mean. In the 2000s, Milan, back to back.
But United were dominating the Premier League. Liverpool made it to a final.
That was a lucky final. But if you look at
Liverpool made it to 2 finals. In this time, Liverpool made it to 2 finals. United were dominating the league. There were other teams getting in the semi-finals. Other English teams getting in there as well. So the Arsenal got into one. So you're talking at a time where United were dominating the leagues. Other teams were making finals just as often as United.
If you remember specifically, so United won the league obviously in '99. Then I think Arsenal was 02. Arsenal was 02 and then 02 and then 04 and then Chelsea won it 05, 06 and then United went on a triple. Then 7, 8, 9. That's when they were strong again. Chelsea won it, the league. I mean, in 2005 and 2006. So United in that mid 2000 period, they weren't actually strong.
No, but in that time though, they were the title challengers. They weren't the team.
They weren't though, because they'd gone 3 years. So Arsenal invincibles.
But they were mostly in title races.
No, in terms of the 2 years that Chelsea won it, they strolled to the title.
No. Chelsea strolled to the title.
I think Arsenal came second in the first year.
But what I'm saying is, they were the next best thing in England. Like, they weren't 5th and 6th. They were definitely up there. I can't remember Fergie. There was a record that showed Fergie, his record in finishing in the top 3 was ridiculous. Like, I think so. He was up there with the best of the Premier League lot. Whether they won it or not, they were up there with the best. Where other teams have been dropping in and out through that structural change. Fergie was always there, and they were always a good team in the Premier League, whether they won it or not. So saying that, should they not have done better in Europe than they did?
No, because there were just better teams out there.
But
AC Milan,
shouldn't this manager be able to take them more often than not? I know they went through that strong spell with Ronaldo, Rooney, Tevez and boys, but if you look at the long stint of that 25 years, should he not have got more?
No.
You don't think he should have at least one more Champions League?
I think he got to enough Champions League finals. Pre-2000, I can't speak to that. But in the 2000s, I think he did as expected.
How many finals did he lose to Barcelona? 2, innit?
He lost to 2 finals to Barca, beat Chelsea in 1 final, and obviously won in 99.
Okay, yeah, so he won in 99. So he's made 4 finals in about
He was unlucky. He was unlucky.
That's not too bad if you look at it like that.
Against Porto.
Was he at the club 20 years or 25?
25 years, I think. I think he was appointed 1989, 88, I think.
Yeah, around then, I think. And then he left, so about 23 years, I think he was there, 24 years. So 4 finals in a 12-year spell or something, 13-year spell. That in that, from the first final to the last, where he won it. He won it either side. 4 in total. That's not too bad when you look at it like that. It's just the other side of them strong spells where you think.
I think English clubs weren't great like pre-1997.
The only thing I'm saying is, because he's had that control for that long, he'll be coming up against different clubs that are always going through different changes. Which is why I'm thinking, should he not be doing more while he's in that position of strength?
No, because do you know?
I know there's always another club that's going to be strong.
Do you know how Premier League clubs have all the spending power now?
Yeah.
It was the Italian and Spanish clubs back then, because that Juve team. I mean, Zidane, Del Piero.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Inzaghi was there then.
Yeah, I know. There were other good French teams. Monaco, Marseille, they also got into
then
decent positions as well.
Then in the mid-2000s, when Ronaldinho came onto the scene, Barcelona snapped him up, and they had an amazing team then. Then Chelsea came on.
I just feel like, for a GOAT like Fergie, because he is a GOAT, I feel like he should have at least one more Champions League. I feel like he should have.
Had he not come up against Barca, he probably would have.
I'd love to know what you guys think of it anyway, and I think it is time to end it there. I hope you guys did enjoy this. If there's anything you want us to discuss, put it in the comment section. If you didn't like anything about this podcast, fuck you. I like to keep it professional at times. But yeah, no, just let us know your thoughts and stuff in the comment section. I hope you did like it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And remember to share it with everyone, because this is going to be the best thing since sliced bread. I need to stop talking because I'm just going to come out with more random shit. But yeah, guys, I hope you did enjoy it. Until next time, peace.